Welcome to this episode of Latodio, where we bring you Book in Minutes, Insights for Life. Today, we're discussing The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, a timeless guide to finding peace in a fast-paced world. In a time when we're constantly connected, multitasking, and juggling daily stresses, Tolle's message of living in the present couldn't be more relevant. Many of us feel stretched thin by the pressures of daily life, and the idea of finding calm and focus might seem out of reach. But that's where the power of now comes in. Tolle doesn't just talk about mindfulness as an abstract idea. He gives us practical ways to reduce stress, let go of overthinking, and connect with a sense of peace that's always within us. Today, we'll explore insights from the power of now that can transform how we approach our routines, relationships, and the way we think. Whether you're new to mindfulness or simply looking for ways to improve your well-being, this episode will show you how Tolle's ideas can be a powerful tool for living with intention and clarity. So let's jump in and explore how we can live more fully, right here, right now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is a transformative guide to spiritual enlightenment that has captivated readers worldwide. Published in 1997, this book explores the power of mindfulness and the concept of living fully in the present moment. Tolle invites readers to break free from the mental traps that hold them back, such as overthinking, regret, and anxiety, and to find peace and joy by reconnecting with their true essence. The main themes revolve around achieving inner peace by transcending the egoic mind, understanding the nature of consciousness, and realizing the profound benefits of living in the now. Tolle argues that the constant stream of thoughts we engage with daily leads us away from a true sense of being, causing unnecessary suffering. His work draws on wisdom from spiritual traditions, with insights that appeal to readers on both philosophical and practical levels. At its core, The Power of Now aims to serve as a practical roadmap for personal growth and fulfillment. Its impact has been enormous, influencing self-help, mindfulness, and wellness movements globally. Tolle's message, simple yet profound, resonates with those seeking to escape the pressures of a hyper-connected world and find stillness and purpose. Whether you're looking to deepen your understanding of mindfulness or embark on a journey of spiritual discovery, The Power of Now offers valuable insights on how to live a life grounded in presence and awareness. Chapter 1. You Are Not Your Mind. In this chapter, Tolle kicks off by tackling one of his most powerful ideas. Our mind and constant stream of thoughts are often our biggest obstacles to peace. He argues that many of us live in a state of mind identification, where we think we are our thoughts. He explains how thoughts pull us into the past or future, keeping us from the present moment. To separate ourselves from this, Tolle introduces the concept of becoming an observer of the mind, watching our thoughts without judgment. A great takeaway here is the idea of witnessing your thoughts instead of getting lost in them. It's almost like stepping outside yourself to see your mind's chatter, which helps reduce its power over you. This chapter really sets the stage for learning to separate from our mental noise and begin living more peacefully. Chapter 2. Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain. Tolle explains here that most pain we feel isn't rooted in the present moment but in resistance to what is. He introduces the idea of the pain body, a kind of emotional baggage we carry from past experiences. This pain body feeds on negative thinking and keeps us trapped in cycles of pain. One of Tolle's key messages here is that by practicing mindfulness and acceptance, we can stop fueling our pain body and reduce its hold on us. This chapter is powerful because it helps us understand that so much of our suffering is self-inflicted and unnecessary. Learning to observe pain without becoming it, just like with thoughts, can help us process and let go of it. Chapter 3. Moving Deeply into the Now. This chapter really digs into the importance of the present moment. Tolle argues that living in the now isn't just helpful, it's the only place we can actually experience life. He uses a metaphor of life as a series of now moments, urging us to stop postponing happiness by imagining it will come later. One memorable idea is his inner body practice, where he encourages us to focus on physical sensations to bring ourselves back to the now. This is a practical way of grounding ourselves and breaking free from the mental habit of drifting off into the past or future. The lesson? Fulfillment isn't in future goals or past memories. It's here, in this very moment. Chapter 4, Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. Here, Tolle explores how the mind actually resists the present because it's afraid of losing control. He describes how our ego-driven minds use worry, regret, and planning to keep us distracted, believing these mental activities keep us safe. But in reality, these mind games prevent us from truly living. A great example he uses is the trap of waiting, constantly looking forward to when something happens. The key takeaway is that we don't need to wait for anything to feel whole. By surrendering to the now and letting go of mental resistance, we can experience a sense of peace that's not reliant on external events. Chapter 5, The State of Presence. This chapter centers on the idea of presence, which Tolle describes as a deep connection to the now, unclouded by thought. He says presence is a state where we're completely absorbed in what is, feeling alive and at peace. He gives the example of simple activities, like walking or breathing, to demonstrate how we can enter this state. Tolle's main lesson is that presence isn't something we achieve, it's a state we can return to by letting go of mental distractions. This chapter gives practical tips on cultivating presence, like paying attention to the gaps between thoughts or using our breath to bring us back into the moment. Chapter 6, The Inner Body. In this chapter, Tolle expands on the inner body concept. He suggests focusing on bodily sensations as a doorway to presence. By feeling our body from the inside, we can bypass the mind's noise and connect with a deeper sense of being. The practical exercise he mentions is shifting your attention to different parts of your body and noticing sensations. This isn't just a mindfulness practice, it's a way of grounding yourself in the now. Tolle's lesson here is that our body can be an anchor to presence, helping us tune into a sense of aliveness that lies beyond the mind. Chapter 7, Portals into the Unmanifested. Here, Tolle introduces the idea of the unmanifested, the formless, silent essence within all of us that connects us to everything. He explains that while we're mostly caught up in the manifested world, thoughts, emotions, experiences, we can connect to the unmanifested by being still and present. Tolle describes various portals to the unmanifested, like silence, stillness, and surrender. These are states that help us touch something beyond the physical world, where true peace resides. The lesson here is about finding depth and meaning not through doing, but through being, which brings a profound sense of fulfillment. Chapter 8, Enlightened Relationships. In this chapter, Tolle applies the concept of presence to relationships. He explains that most relationships are based on ego rather than genuine connection, which leads to conflict and drama. Tolle suggests that when two people are truly present with each other, they can experience a much deeper connection, free of egoic needs. The lesson here is about creating relationships that aren't based on clinging or projection. Tolle teaches that instead of seeking validation or security from others, we should cultivate presence within ourselves. This allows relationships to become places of shared presence and mutual growth. Chapter 9, Beyond Happiness and Unhappiness, There is Peace. Tolle explains that while happiness and unhappiness are fleeting states, true peace is constant. He says that by not attaching to external circumstances, we can access a deeper state of contentment. Happiness, he explains, is conditional and depends on things going right, while peace comes from within and doesn't depend on any external factor. One key lesson is that we can learn to accept all experiences without labeling them as good or bad. This acceptance doesn't mean being passive but rather embracing life as it is, which can bring a steady sense of peace and joy. Chapter 10, The Meaning of Surrender. Tolle concludes with the concept of surrender, which he defines as yielding to the present moment without resistance. This isn't about giving up. Rather, it's about accepting things as they are instead of struggling against them. Surrender, he says, is the ultimate form of empowerment because it aligns us with life's natural flow. Tolle gives examples of how surrender doesn't make us passive. It actually gives us the strength to face challenges without resistance. The main takeaway is that when we stop resisting the moment, we open ourselves to experiencing life fully and peacefully, no matter what happens. And now, the most impactful takeaways from the power of now. 1. You are not your thoughts. Tolle's big point here is that we often mistake ourselves for our thoughts. Most of us have this ongoing mental dialogue, replaying past events or worrying about the future, which drags us away from the present. Tolle says, "You are not your mind." Imagine this: thoughts are like clouds in the sky, and you're the sky itself, always there, no matter what clouds pass by. Realizing you can watch your thoughts without being controlled by them helps create space for peace. 2. Pain comes from resistance, not the present moment. A huge insight Tolle gives is that our suffering is usually a result of resisting what is, instead of accepting it. Think of a time when you were stuck in traffic. If you fought it, mentally cursing the delay, you'd be miserable. But if you accepted it, just surrendered to being there, you could relax and maybe even enjoy the time. Painful emotions often come when we want things to be different from how they are, and learning to let go of that need to control can bring more ease into our lives. 3. Your body can anchor you to the present. Tolle suggests that tuning into your body, feeling it from the inside out, is a great way to become present. He calls this inner body awareness. You can try this by focusing on your breath, feeling your feet on the ground, or noticing any subtle sensations. For example, if you're feeling stressed, shift your focus to your hands, just feeling the warmth or tingling in them. This simple practice can pull you out of your head and back into the moment, helping to clear mental noise. 4. The past and future are illusions, only the now exists. One of Tolle's most radical ideas is that the past and future are just constructs of the mind. We spend so much time mentally in these places that we miss out on the present, which is all that's real. Think about it. The past is just memories, and the future hasn't happened yet. So, by worrying about what's to come or dwelling on what's been, we lose the chance to actually live. This perspective can make everyday moments feel more alive, like really tasting your coffee or fully listening to someone talk without thinking of what you'll say next. 5. Accepting things as they are gives you true freedom. Tolle emphasizes the power of acceptance, not in a passive way, but as a choice to be at peace with life's ups and downs. This doesn't mean you don't take action to change things you can, but it means you stop resisting reality. For example, if you're in a job you dislike, fighting it in your mind only causes stress. But if you accept where you are now, you free up mental energy to either improve your situation or move on peacefully. 6. Relationships are healthiest when free from ego. In relationships, Tolle says most of our issues come from the ego, when we expect others to complete us or need them to validate us. This creates attachment and dependency, which can lead to conflict. Tolle encourages being fully present with the people in our lives rather than letting ego-driven needs interfere. This could mean listening more deeply without waiting to respond, or letting go of the need to always be right. It makes connections feel more genuine and less draining. 7. The pain body is your unresolved emotional baggage. Tolle describes the pain body as a collection of old emotional wounds that come up when triggered. Think of it like this: when you have an intense reaction to something small, it's often because an old wound has been poked. Instead of fueling that pain with more negativity, Tolle suggests simply observing it. For example, if you feel anger welling up, recognize it as part of your pain body. By acknowledging it, you reduce its power over you and can eventually let it dissolve. 8. You can find peace beyond happiness and unhappiness. Tolle teaches that happiness and unhappiness are temporary, they come and go. True peace, on the other hand, is constant and not dependent on circumstances. He suggests shifting focus from seeking external happiness to finding internal peace, which comes from accepting the present moment as it is. This mindset frees us from the constant chase of more and helps us find contentment with where we are right now. 9. Surrendering to the moment doesn't mean giving up. A lot of people mistake surrender for passivity, but Tolle means it as an active form of acceptance. When you stop resisting, you align yourself with life's natural flow. For instance, let's say you're going through a challenging time. Instead of wishing it away or constantly feeling frustrated, surrendering means fully accepting it as part of your journey. This openness often reveals solutions and brings unexpected strength. 10. Presence is a gateway to inner stillness. Ultimately, Tolle suggests that presence itself is a portal to something deeper within us, what he calls the unmanifested, or our true essence. When we're truly present, we connect with a stillness that's always there, beneath all our mental chatter. This presence can feel like a calm undercurrent, a sense of grounding that's always accessible, no matter what chaos is happening on the surface. Thanks for listening to this episode of Litodio. We hope you enjoyed exploring today's book with us. If you're craving more insightful summaries and want to stay inspired, be sure to hit the follow button and subscribe wherever you're listening. We release fresh episodes regularly, so join us next time as we explore another impactful read. We'll link to the book in the description. Until next time, keep listening, learning, and growing with Litodio.